Hi, today we're going to talk about Taurus season, why it's different this year in 2025, and everything you need to know about Taurus. And if you're a beginner, these videos are perfect for you. If you want to learn from a professional reader, astrology reader, teacher, someone with over 55 years of studying and doing readings in astrology and in the psychic metaphysical world. So, what we're going to do is look at the ephemeris chart wheel, and I use iPhemeris, which is a very sophisticated program, and it shows when where the planets are at a specific time. So let me see here. Hopefully we could get this rolling. Uh, there we go. Select. And there it is. So everyone should see on the screen a round circle with different colors on the outside. The different colors represent the signs. And these little glyphs or symbols on the inside are the planets. These bold lines are what we call the angles. This is the ascendant right now. So I'm a little late on the uptake because today is May 6th, but Taurus season officially started on the East Coast here April 19th, 2025. So it doesn't start in the beginning of the month or at the end of the month or in the middle of the month. It starts when? When the sun is in 0 degrees, 0 minutes. This is 2 minutes, Taurus. So here it is. The sun is in Taurus. So this is the season that we're in. What does Taurus represent? What does it mean? Well, first of all, it's the second sign of the natural zodiac, and it's an earth sign, which means it's slow moving. And it's very earthy because it has to do with the physical world, what we touch, what we smell, what we see, what we hear. It's all the senses, the five senses, not the sixth sense. Okay. And the other thing that you have to know, besides it being an earth sign, and it has to do with gardening, anything of the earth, animals, but especially building and your possessions, money. So, what do I mean by building? Well, to build anything. An architect builds a building. He puts out a plan, a blueprint, and then he builds a building. Earth signs are very practical and they're methodical, they're sure footed. All the earth signs. Taurus is the first earth sign. It's also a fixed sign. That's the modality. So a fixed sign is a sign that doesn't like change, likes to keep things the way they are. So they could be stubborn, they could be resistant to change, they could be just resistant, period. And it takes them a long time, if ever, to change their mind. Okay? So this is Taurus is the second sign of the zodiac, but it's the first earth sign and it's the first fixed sign. Whenever we look at the sun represents where we shine, what we want in our life, and what we want to do. It also shows the journey, our journey in life. So if you have Sun Taurus in your natal chart, that means that your journey is all about finances, possessions, money, to build, to accumulate money. Okay? The other thing you have to understand about Taurus is that it's associated with the second house on the natural zodiac. So the second house has to do with, of course, your self-worth, but your possessions. And if you ever notice that people with a very high self-worth always make more money, they demand it because they have the self-worth. They're like, I'm not going to work for this amount of money. I should be getting more money. So they will not take the lower paying job. You see, Taurus is associated with the planet Venus. Venus is what we call the ruler of Taurus. And if you have any questions, please post them in the comments below, and I'll answer the questions for you as soon as possible. I do my best to make sure that everyone gets their questions answered. Also, as a side note, I teach an astrology course in classes that are sequential, so you will learn methodically and sure-footedly, and that way, if you choose to stop because you learned enough that's as far as you want to go, there will be no gaps up to the point that you ended. So it's very strategically laid out, and we will start the next course in the late fall. And keep your eyes open. If you're not signed up for our newsletter, you could follow us on TikTok, social media, Facebook, Instagram. TikTok is where I do a lot of my posts, and of course, YouTube, where I do the long content videos. And the email, you will get a newsletter and posts about what's going on in the news. So, thank you for that commercial break. But it's important because a lot of people want to learn astrology. If you like my style, I have a long background in education. I taught at Old Dominion here. I was the educational coordinator at Hartford Hospital. When I was in the medical world, I am a laboratory professional, CTASCP. So, Sunday school teacher, I love to teach. So, teaching astrology is very challenging because you can't skip steps. If we skip steps, then you're going to be lost. And if you're like I was, I had a million books and I'm reading all these books and there were all these gaps. And back in the day when I was learning astrology, you couldn't take a course and you couldn't even consider astrology as a viable career because it was illegal. It was considered fortune telling. But that's another video coming up. So back to Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus is the goddess of love. It's attractiveness. It's luxury items. It's what you could buy with your money. It is beauty. It is feminine. It's also sweets, food, sugar. Okay. That is all Venus, and it is the ruler of Taurus. So when we say the ruling planet of Taurus, that means that Venus and Taurus share energies and frequencies, because this chart is an energy pattern. And what happens here is it shows the energy of the sun in Taurus. Now, what makes this year different from last year, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a year ago, and you could see that we have Chiron next to the sun, and we have all these planets all built up here next to the sun in Taurus. But last year, we'll go to 2024, it was similar, but not quite the same, okay? Not quite the same. You see? It's a little bit of a different lineup. And then we have Black Moon Lilith uh, in this respect here, and we have Mars and Pluto across from one another and square. So they're having a relationship and communication with the sun. Pluto, Mars in Leo, and Taurus. That was last year. That was this year. Last year, Pluto was square the sun, but Mars was not really involved at all. Okay. So this year makes it different right there. And that's what I want to show you, that every year these seasons are different. So when I say a season, am I predicting what's going to happen? No, I'm giving you a forecast and I'm letting you know that the weather forecast or the frequency and energy forecast for Taurus is the following. We're going to have probably everyone on the planet, because these planets here affect everyone, not just me and you. So if we jump ahead here to May, we're already in May, and you can see the planets are moving, okay? But Mars and Pluto are still in relationship, and they are opposing one another, which means there's a little bit of a tug of war. Whenever we have Mars and Pluto together, those are the planets that will make you do something. I always learned that Mars was the trigger on the gun and Pluto was like the atomic bomb. But it's a transformational thing. That was a little dramatic back then. So the whole world is shifting gears, big gears, because Pluto doesn't move very quickly. Mars moves quicker. The sun moves quicker than Mars. The other thing that we need to look at is, if we're focused, if you're a Taurus, if you have any planets or your angles are on Taurus, then we always have to look at the opposite sign of what we're talking about. If we're talking about Taurus possessions, we always have to look at the opposite sign, which is Scorpio. Now, Scorpio is also fixed. They don't like change, but it's water. So it's not so much that it's earthy, it's emotional. A Taurus is practical. Scorpio may not be practical, may be more emotional and moody, intense. So people with Taurus planets or energies a lot of times exhibit the opposite sign of Scorpio. They could be very controlling, and they're fixed because both signs are fixed. So they're moving from the opposite spectrum, where it could be the negative side of their personality in that Scorpio, and their journey is to be more of a Taurus. Okay. Taurians are very simple. They don't like a lot of things, but it has to be beautiful. It has to be comforting. Taurus is about comfort. And it's also about hugging, touching, sensuality, sexuality. Scorpio is about sex, not so much the loving kind of sex, but the fusion and the energetic level of sexuality, how When you're intimate, you merge together as one, and whatever is mine is yours and yours is mine, and there's a very non-defined barriers, whose is mine and whose is yours. And that's what could make things very tough, especially if you're materialistic. Taurians can be very materialistic. So whatever planet is in Taurus, if you have any planets other than the sun, take a look at your natal chart and see where Taurus is in the chart. Is it in the first house, in the second house? What house is it in? And then you could see where the emphasis is for you this season. We have covered most everything about Taurus. When you learn about the natal chart and you learn about the symbolism of astrology, then you'll start being able to read these grids over here and see what are the relationships, how are the planets talking to one another. Well, there could be some kind of aggression and tension or problem solving issues here, and emotional issues, because Mars and the moon and the sun are working together to work out a conflict. There's also a bit of responsibility and discipline involved, maybe negative thoughts, maybe not enough money. But if you work hard, you will get things ironed out and you will get the money. And then you look here, and there's one more aspect with the South Node. So to repeat now, we must understand that Taurus is the planet of money. Is the sign of money, ruled by the planet Venus of money. And it's a fixed sign. It's an earth sign. It has to do with possessions. It slows down after Aries. Aries is fast, like you strike a match and running to go, like a horse race, like the Kentucky Derby. They go shooting out of the gate. And then Taurus is like, let's pace ourselves. Let's maintain the speed. Put it on cruise control. That's the Taurian energy. And then the next sign is going to be Gemini, where it's fast again. And it's air. It will be the first air sign. And it's mutable, the first mutable sign. And that has to do with communication. So Taurus is about possessions and the simplicity of life, the food that we eat, things from the earth, shelter, the buildings that we build, our finances and possessions that we accumulate and build. And if you have any comments, put them below. Let me know how you like this. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another video again. Thank you and have a good day. Ev Zerverdakis, founder of Holistic Healing Astrology. Take care, my loves.